It's a slow go on Stewartson Way and New Westminster after an earlier accident at 5th Avenue just east of the Queensboro Bailey. Traffic coming off of Marine is quite busy out of Burnaby, and same for those taking that exit off the Queensboro Bridge. I've been telling people avoid Stewartson altogether. Take that 20th Street Hill and use 6th or 8th or even 10th instead. Westbound direction has also been delayed, so it might be a better option to take 6th Avenue if you still have a chance. In the meantime, expect some delays both ways on Stewartson from the Queensboro. Over to Maple Ridge now, where there's a construction zone where they've been doing nightly work on Low Heat Highway. This is just between Ruskin and Mission, east of Silverdale. They usually set up their lane closures close to Chester Street, and it's a slow go again for tonight. If you come across any traffic issues, call star 1130. From the News 1130 Weather Center, a cloudy sky for now. A few showers develop overnight with a low of 1, and we get a few showers for the morning as well, but it dries out fairly quickly for a cloudy afternoon and a high of 7, and we get sunny breaks on Wednesday. It's 3 in the valley, 4 at the airport in downtown Vancouver, cloudy and +3. We are the only Vancouver radio station with traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the ones and traffic alerts to get you there on time. The widow of Kobe Bryant is speaking about the loss of both her husband and daughter ahead of a public memorial service later this month.
In a new Instagram post, Vanessa Bryant is opening up, writing that until now she's been reluctant to put her feelings into words. She writes, quote, "My brain refuses to accept that both Kobe and Gigi are gone. I can't process both at the same time. It's like I'm trying to process Kobe being gone, but my body refuses to accept my Gigi will never come back to me," end quote. A large memorial service is scheduled for February 24th. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Coming up next in sports with Marcus Fitzgerald, the Canucks.
Well, this is weird. What the hell happened?
Yeah, the game has certainly gotten a little bit tighter. They were up 4 goals at one point, Bailey, and they're not up by 4 anymore. I'll explain in 60 seconds.
Hi, I'm Ivanka.
Weird.
With a job that starts late, a 2-year-old that starts early, and a new baby on the way, getting a great night's sleep was a challenge, to say the least. I love my sleep and I needed help. So, I reached out to the sleep experts at Sleep Country.
Well, they just told whatever it was.
The first thing they did was fit me with the right pillow for my unique sleeping style. I thought all pillows were the same, but after I tested a few, they matched me with the BioSoy pillow, and I've never looked back. It features high-density memory foam that shapes to my head and neck to help take a load off my tired back. And you don't need to be pregnant to appreciate the all-natural hypoallergenic cover. Better pillow, better sleep.
So this is where it was.
Right now, buy one BioSoy pillow at Sleep Country and get a second BioSoy pillow free. Restrictions apply. See store for details. Sleep Country. All for sleep.
In 400 meters, turn right onto 3rd Avenue.
This is All News Radio. News 1130. It's 3 degrees in downtown Vancouver. Good evening. I'm Bailey Nicholson. Here's what's making news right now. From Vancouver to the Maritimes, demonstrations have been ongoing today in support of Indigenous people who will pose an LNG pipeline on their land in northern BC. Mounties are on the lookout for a man who caused thousands of dollars in damage around North Vancouver this morning, hitting several cars with a pickup.
Turn right onto 3rd Avenue.
Might be making its way to the eastern parts of Metro Vancouver. It's 8:45.
Keep left to continue on Quayside Drive.
11:30.
In 500 meters, turn right onto Laguna Court.
Predators are making them sweat just a little bit. Vancouver was up 4-0 at one point, but the Predators have had a strong second period. They scored the last 2. It's 4-2 now. Under 3 minutes to go in the middle frame. Elias Pettersson has his 24th goal of the season. Zach McEwen's got a penalty. So does Brandon Sutter, and so does Jordy Ben. So scoring from all over the lineup for Vancouver. They try to snap a 4-game losing streak. Of course, it is Sedin's week. They'll be retiring the Twins numbers on Wednesday before the game against Chicago.
Welcome to you, Hoopits.
Media today. Daniel talking about this year's group. Now, they took a little bit of a step, but you can still see what was in that locker room.
Take the next right onto Laguna Court, then you will arrive at your destination. Welcome home.
2 points back of Vancouver for top spot in the Pacific. They beat the Habs 3-2. Philadelphia, the Islanders, and Tampa Bay Lightning also victorious. NBA, Toronto Raptors continue to win basketball games. They won 15 straight. They beat Minnesota 137. 11-6 for Kyle Lowry in the win for Toronto. Baseball, the trade sending Mookie Betts and David Price from the Red Sox to the Dodgers has been made official. MVP in Betts. The Red Sox getting 3 prospects back in return. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/650. Hi, this is Jim Murray, managing partner and CEO at Brian Jessel BMW.
Don't turn that
For over
off.
30 years.
These things have been here forever.
So it's useful, Eddie. See, that person's got 2 spots. Look where their 2 spots are. Right by my door.
Maybe, do you want to go in head first
No.
to pack stuff in?
I like